You can really transform your body just by walking. You can. And I'm gonna tell you how. So, walking is one of the most accessible exercises that almost anybody can do. But for it to, be at a level that it can transform your body, the Cliff Notes answer is that you really have to change how you think about what's enough walking. You got to change how you think about what's enough. Because there's a lot of people out here who are great with the big C word, consistency. They consistently walk, but they don't see results because just honestly, what they're doing is not enough. So let's get into the details of how you can transform your body with walking. Well, prior to that, let me say this too. Now, ideally, you're going to be training your body. You're going to be doing some sort of strength training like calisthenics or weightlifting, because that's going to help preserve and build muscle, which will help to sculpt your body better. But that said, and also diet. Like, you really can't out exercise a bad diet either. Now, let's get into the nitty gritty about how you can change your body just by walking. Like I say, broadly speaking, you need to change your mind about what's enough. Because a lot of people will be consistent with, maybe 30 minutes, 3 days a week, 5 days a week. And then they're disappointed because they don't really see any results. And again, it's because it's not enough. It's not enough. Now, think about this. It's 2025 as of the recording of this video. If you go back 100 years ago even, so 1925, how much walking do you think they were doing in comparison to us? A whole lot more. Automobiles. So if I'm not mistaken, the first automobile came out in the 19-teens, like the, at least here in America, like the Henry Ford stuff. I can't remember all those dates, but not many people had vehicles. And so if somebody did have a vehicle and they were using it to get to work, it was probably very rare as the very wealthy. But most people didn't work far away from where they lived. And so they were walking to work. They weren't necessarily using like elevators and stuff. I'm pretty sure that if elevators existed back then, they were the ones where somebody had to pull by hand, or you know what I'm talking about? But they were using stairs and just getting around largely on their own. So if you really, really think about it, people were doing way, way more walking then. But get this, it wasn't even a part of an exercise program. It was just a part of life. So that's the first way you're gonna have to change your mind. You're going to have to do whatever you can about not exchanging times that you will walk for some sort of convenience, like an escalator, elevator, parking close to the workplace or the store. You're gonna have to change your mind about that. So again, those are my suggestions. Don't take the elevator, at least if you can help it, or the escalator. Use the stairs. Don't park close for convenience. Park further away, okay? If it's a neighbor's house, and you're used to driving, within a mile or two, just walk. Just walk. We've done all these things for the sake of making it easy and saving time, but just think about it. Where you're saving time, you're sacrificing health at the same time. You know what I mean? So just, add the walking back in. Add the walking back in. Now, from the exercise standpoint, and I'm gonna try to make sure that I link to my free walking plan in the description. But from the exercise standpoint, if you're wanting to formally walk, it is true. The first thing you need to do is make sure that you're being consistent. So yes, I would start out with even as little as 5 minutes, I say 5 days a week minimum. But then from there, you want to add time every week until you can get to maybe at least an hour at a time. Yes, an hour at a time. So you figure an hour, 5 days a week, an hour a day, 5 days a week, that's 5 hours of walking a day. That's gonna make a difference. Now, especially if you do right and adjust your diet, you cut out, you either sharply, drastically reduce, if not eliminate, ultra processed food, stop eating late. Again, like if you actually do these things, you kind of reduce sharply or eliminate those sweet drinks, sweet teas and Cokes and orange soda and all that kind of stuff. You're gonna see a change from walking an hour 5 days a week. Now, a lot of people aren't really thinking about that. They're not really thinking about doing that much. But what I'm telling you is you gotta change your mind. You really have to change your mind, because we tend to unconsciously have these roadblocks. Like, even if we don't speak them verbally, we have these things in our minds like, well, I'm not doing that. But if walking is like your thing right now, then what's really holding you back? What's really holding you back? And plus, we all know in this day and age, a lot of us are spending way more time than that scrolling on the phone, where, especially if you grew up like a millennial or a Gen X or something like that, we know what life was like before phones. We don't need these phones the way that we do. So you can easily sacrifice some time on there that's like, honestly, most likely unproductive, and use that to add to your walking. It's about changing your mindset, changing your perspective. Okay? So that's what I mean. Those two things are really the main things as far as like walking in such a way that it will actually transform your body. Get up to an hour a day, at least 5 days a week. Find the time. If you have to split it up, split it up. And guess what? Even though I think that ideally walking is a good time to just kind of reflect, to pray, those kind of things, to meditate on good things. If you have to, you can walk on like a, you can do a walking meeting or something like that. Again, I think that walking just for the sake of prayer, meditation, and just reflection is great, because it's just so good for your brain. We don't get enough of that time. But you can even, I'm just saying, you can kind of do other things when you walk too, if you absolutely have to. Now, I want to stress again, if you really want walking to be transformative and you're dedicated to building up that kind of consistency up to an hour, 5 days a week minimum, dial in your diet. Those sweet drinks got to go. I'm not saying you can never drink them again, but like a lot of people need to kind of like fast from them the same way I did when I eliminated Coca-Cola, which I still like. I just don't drink them very often. I only drink them like once or twice a year. But this is a matter of if you really want it. If you really, really want it. If you really want it. The same way that if a kid wants a new video game system and they decide they're going to save their money for it, they're going to do their chores perfectly. If you really want the benefits of a sculpted, healthy body, systems healthy, better numbers and stuff like that, then you do whatever it takes. Because that's what happens when we really want something. We really will do whatever it takes. So you gotta cut those sweet drinks out. You have to really like make sure that no craving that you have has a hold on you. Because that's why I'm good with soda now, because I had to eliminate it for a time. And again, it doesn't mean I never get it anymore, but I just don't crave it like that. I really don't. Ultra processed food is not good for you anyway. And on top of that, one thing I try to say a lot too is a lot of people are out here, they're exercising, they're going hard. Like they doing everything. They're doing like the real intense kind of workouts you see on Instagram and TikTok and all this stuff. But they're not supplementing that with a healthy body. And what's happening is it's probably destroying their bodies at the same time. Because I'm a firm believer that exercise with a body that's not being fueled right, it's kind of like if you're building a brick wall, but then you're knocking bricks out, and then you put some sort of something like a heavy structure on top of the brick walls, like building a house of bricks, but then you're knocking bricks out within the walls, and then you put a heavy roof on top. Like, you're subjecting your body to the stress of exercise without making sure that it has everything it needs. So that's another reason why I strongly advise against trying to out-exercise a bad diet, because What if your system's not working right? What if your heart, your lungs, your pancreas, you know, your immune system, whatever, what if that stuff is not really getting what it needs? So anyway, I'm just saying all this to say, you can transform your body if you had the right kind of mindset. You know, it just might mean that you got to really ramp it up. You got to change your whole lifestyle. You got to walk as much as you can within your life, because that's what we used to do until this world got so convenience based. But we just got to change. Just because everybody else does differently doesn't mean that we have to do what everybody else is doing. Be the odd person out. Because if you are the one that does a whole lot more walking, then I guarantee you're going to see the results. You're going to see the results on the scale. You're going to see the results in your blood work. You're going to see the results in your mindset. You're also going to see the results in the mirror. Okay, so if you are going to change your mind and therefore transform your body by walking, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, let me know that as well. Have a good one. As we get older, it becomes increasingly important to maintain and build muscle. Muscle helps you burn fat, stay mobile, and can contribute to longevity. However, many people have no idea how to work out to build muscle. My mini workout series on Patreon provides you with my body weight mini workout video library. These workouts use little to no equipment, which means that you can do them in the privacy of your own home. They start at beginner level and progress from there to ensure you continue to see results. Every workout is a full body workout, hitting chest, back, legs, and glutes, as well as other muscles in between. Become a patron today and receive access to my series of mini workouts, plus access to a digital copy of my book, 8 Weeks to Transform Your Diet and Your Health. By combining the workouts with healthy diet changes, as outlined in my book, you'll definitely be on your way to weight loss, improved health, and visible results. Join me at patreon.com/SeanB2B Fitness today.